Thanks very much for tuning into News 9. You're watching Unmissable. I'm Nabila Jamal. As always, I take you through news from India and across the globe. Our top story today is on the ORS, fake ORS ban that was announced by the FSSAI. But now it seems like those manufacturers who already manufactured tons of ORS say allow us to sell until the stocks are over. You have a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson who claim that they have stock worth 180 crores and they want to sell it, and the Delhi High Court seems like has given a year and has currently put a pause on the ban until stocks are over. Of course, this has led to hue and cry on how fair is this. Should we go with commerce or health? Stay with us for more on that and a lot more on Yamuna River currently frothing. You have barely days to go for Chhath Puja, and Delhi Chief Minister Rekha also promised that she will ensure pollution-free Yamuna so that Chhath Puja can happen easily, but doesn't seem like we are far from achieving that. Well, finally on our Day to Night segment, Kurnool bus tragedy. We're looking at nearly 20 people have been burnt alive after the AC sleeper coach bus caught fire. Now, details on that, as always, I start after the headlines. With Bihar elections around the corner, Prime Minister Narendra Modi officially backs Nitish Kumar as the BJP-led NDA's chief ministerial face, promising record-breaking victory. The move comes amid Tejasvi Yadav's claim that BJP has no plans to retain Nitish as CM if they come to power. Amid US pressure over Russian oil imports, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says that India never takes decisions in a hurry or with a gun to our head. CID Special DGP Munna Prasad Gupta says Assam Police has sought CCTV footage and witness statements from Singapore to complete the investigation in a timely manner on Zubin Garg. Election Commission of India to start special revision of Tamil Nadu voter lists in a week. Move comes after Madras High Court hears a plea seeking transparent re-verification of 226 booths in T Nagar constituency. CPIM slams Kerala government for bypassing allies on the centre's PM Shri project, which upgrades infrastructure in 2 schools per block with 1 crore per school annually for 5 years. CPM urges dialogue, citing 8,000 crore benefit. TVK Chief Vijay likely to hold condolence meeting for Karur victims' families in Chennai in Mamalapuram on October 27 after CBI probe delayed his original Karur visit. Chandrababu Naidu administration forms multi-departmental team to probe Kurnool's fatal bus accident. Officials form Transport, Roads and Revenue expected to submit a report soon enough on what really happened. US President Trump accuses Canada of airing fake advertisement featuring Ronald Reagan, says Canada cheated and got caught again. Alleges that it is trying to illegally influence US Supreme Court. All right, let me cut across to our top story here on fake ORS that's now been clamped down on, but it seems like those manufacturers have asked for a little more time until stocks are sold. Is it fair? A major twist in India's crackdown on fake ORS drinks. The Delhi High Court has now put the Food Safety Authority's ban on pause. The court has granted an interim stay on FSSAI's October 14th to 15th orders after a plea by JNTL Consumer Health, which is a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, appealed to court saying that they have unsold stock. The order now allows the company to keep selling its ORS branded drink, at least for now, until stocks are out. It appears that the court has also given them time to come back and give their version of the story in court. and that's to happen in a few weeks. JNTL argues that it has stock of nearly 155 to 180 crores, which is now caught in limbo. So Justice Sachin Datta said that FSSAI cannot enforce a ban entirely on the companies selling stocks that exist without these companies given a proper hearing. But behind this order, we know, is a lot of fight, a lot of sweat that's gone into achieving this 8-year battle that a Hyderabad-based paediatrician, Dr. Sivaranjani Santosh, has fought. She's filed 3 PILs, years of research, and finally she managed to expose the so-called ORS drinks that are loaded with sugar instead of electrolytes. Her fight led to FSSAI's ban that aimed to protect millions of children from dehydration-related harm. Now, the regulator had made it quite clear. No brand can use the word ORS unless its formulation matches the World Health Organization standards. For years now, drinks like ORSL and Rebalance with ORS sat on pharmacy shelves right next to real medical ORS sachets. Parents assumed that they were the same and they went on to buy it, feed their children. These so-called rehydration drinks had sugar levels up to 10 times higher than what's medically prescribed in ORS by the WHO. Some even marketed themselves, the brands marketed themselves as doctor recommended, while being nothing more than just sweetened beverages. According to WHO norms, a true ORS should have at least 2.6 grams of sodium chloride, 1.5 grams of potassium chloride, 2.9 grams of sodium citrate, and 13.5 grams of dextrose per litre of water. So that's only about 1.3 grams of sugar per 100 ml, while many bottled drinks contain at least 8 to 12 grams of sugar. That's nearly 5 teaspoons of sugar per pack, which is a complete no-no, especially if you're dehydrated, you're taking ORS. Imagine loading yourself on sugar like that worsens dehydration. Even real ORS, for that matter, needs to be used the right way. In fact, a 4-gram pouch of ORS should be mixed with a 200 ml water, and 20-gram pouch should be mixed with 1 litre water. Mixing it wrong also could make things worse for those wanting to drink it for certain health reasons. Dehydration is a key issue here that you drink ORS for. Now you have sports personalities, you have basically just about anyone drinks ORS to rehydrate yourself. Whether you're sick or not sick, you're tired, ORS is something that you believe will rehydrate you. But imagine if it is loaded with sugar, then what do you do? The High Court stay now really brings this debate back yet again. Should commerce override child's health? Can the existing stock really be sold when we've nearly won this battle? How will FSSAI ensure hospitals, pharmacies and schools stock only genuine ORS while the matter currently plays out in court? How long will it take for the actual stock to be cleared? We have with us Dr. Sivaranjani Santosh herself, the pediatrician and social activist who really fought for years to ensure the ban on this ORS. We also have Padma Shri Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, chairperson of Nephron Clinic, and Dr. Shikha Sharma, nutritionist and scientific mentor, Ranfort Wellness. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. I'll start, of course, with the lady who's been, fighting this battle, finally won, nearly won, until you have Johnson & Johnson subsidiary coming out to say, let us first sell our stocks. Dr. Sivaranjani, thank you very much for fighting this case, ensuring that Indian children are healthy, at least they don't reach out to the false product. You've created awareness, whatever said. What made you take on this billion-rupee brands? You know, you have multiple brands offering fake, at least now we know it's not the real deal. But they say it's doctor recommended and whatnot. You have the company, a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, who's now gone to court saying, allow us to actually finish our stock. You know, it's unfair to us to put a halt suddenly. So how would you view this? The battle is nearly won, but not yet.
There is some small clarification I would like to give. The court didn't tell them that they can finish their stock. Basically, they have approached the court requesting suggesting or requesting that FSSAI give them an audience. FSSAI listens to their representation and then takes a decision. So then the court asked FSSAI if it's okay with that request, and FSSAI consented to the request. So a consent order was issued saying that this JNTL will be given 1 week's time to represent its case to FSSAI, and FSSAI has to hear it out and give its decision. So today it's been 1 week. I don't know if it has given its representation to FSSAI as yet or not. And if it has already given, and I hope FSSAI says to them that, yes, we are going to implement 15th October order at any cost. And I hope FSSAI implements that order. Right now, it's not in the court anymore. What the Honorable High Court said is, if FSSAI's decision today, I don't know, basically after the representation is against them, then they are free to again go back to the court. As of now, this matter is not sub judice.
As far as I read, FSSAI says...
Let me finish. Yeah. The reason they gave us that, they have a lot of stock in circulation and they have a lot of goodwill from people for their brand.
Yeah.
And so this notice was too sudden for them. So they need time to represent themselves to the FSSAI.
You know, but as far as I read, you also have the FSSAI who said that, yes, we've banned the ORS that does not meet with WHO standards, but at the same time, we've not demanded for a disposal of existing stocks. How would you read that?
So, FSSAI said that some of us have misrepresented facts and said that some of us have actually accused them of allowing this company to dispose of the stocks. No, we have objected to FSSAI consenting to the request of JNTL in the Delhi High Court that their representation be heard by FSSAI. FSSAI should have objected to that there itself. If FSSAI had objected and said, no, we won't consent to this, maybe the stay order also wouldn't have come. Now the onus is on FSSAI to make sure, see, they were given 1 week notice. So by today, JNTL should have given their representation to FSSAI, and FSSAI should have come out with the decision that, yes, 15th October order will be implemented at any cost.
So you're saying can companies at this point continue selling their stock or not?
Because it's on hold, right? So I don't know if FSSAI has been given the representation by JNTL, and I don't know if FSSAI has given a decision today. I still have to check the FSSAI website.
Okay. How would you look at it?
If FSSAI says no, you can't sell anymore, 15th October order stands valid, then from today, right now, from the time FSSAI issues that order, it cannot be sold.
Okay. Widespread misuse of the brand ORS. When you first raised the red flag, what really triggered you to do so?
An observation by a pediatrician that children who should improve, who should not get dehydrated after giving ORS, were actually getting more dehydrated. Their diarrhea was worsening. And when I did ask the parents what they were giving, they brought these packs and said, we are giving this. Then I realized, okay, I've asked them to give ORS, but they were giving this high sugar liquid, which has almost 10 times the sugar that is recommended in WHO recommended formula ORS. And it is a no-brainer, and it's a well-known medical fact, and we all know that high sugar worsens diarrhea. And these people were there everywhere, pharmacies, hospitals, clinics, schools, everywhere. And you go and ask for ORS, you are not getting WHO recommended formula ORS sachets at all. You're getting these Tetra packs. That's when I started raising awareness, and that wasn't enough, I felt. So I wrote to CDSCO in 2021 and I sent the Tetra packs to them and I asked them, how can you give permission? So then CDSCO said, no boss, we didn't give permission. FSSAI has given permission. Basically, this company was very smart. They have got permission for selling it as a beverage.
Yeah.
But they kept it everywhere, in hospitals, pharmacies, everywhere. Okay. And so whenever anybody went and asked for ORS, they were being given this and not the WHO recommended formula that you're showing on the screen right now.
My God.
Pot and I mean, like,
did you get threatened by any of these companies? These are all high-flying companies with billions of dollars at stake.
everybody is asking me. No direct threats, but I was trolled quite a bit in social media from fake accounts, including threats. Yeah, it was scary sometimes, but yeah, I didn't want to step back. This has to be one for the children of this country.
Yeah.
So, and they did issue an order on 8th April 2022 saying you can't use ORS on the label.
Yeah.
Even rebalance with ORS. But on July 14, 2022, they changed the order and said, okay, you sell, but write a disclaimer here. This is not an ORS. Disclaimers cannot protect dubious labels. And how many people in India actually can read and understand disclaimers?
Yeah.
And even educated people don't read. Of course, we should, but we don't. And then what about the people, rural people?
Oh no, forget rural people. I would be confused. Until now, in fact, until this order came about, until your fight was, it came to fore and there was, spotlight shed on this entire struggle that you've had. I did not know this was such a serious issue. If I saw an ORS bottle, I would reach out for it. And I would assume that, those ORS sachets are also quite sugary, which is why this is also sugary. But what's the difference? Those ORS sachets, WHO recommended ORS sachets versus these ORS Tetra packs. What's the big difference? Both are sugary. They're also sugary. Like I love it. it's nice and sugary.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
They are not sugary. They taste like tears. Okay, the osmolarity is 245 milliosmoles per liter. And they have 15.5 gram per liter of glucose, as you rightly pointed out in the beginning. And you have rightly pointed out that people should mix 4 gram sachet in 200 ml water and 20 gram sachet in 1 liter water and use it for 24 hours and then discard it. You have rightly pointed out. Okay, so this has 10 times more sugar, 120 grams per liter.
My God.
So this pack has 5 teaspoons sugar. So obviously it will worsen the diarrhea. And in the under 5 age group, out of 100 deaths, 13 deaths are due to diarrhea.
Yeah.
Diarrhea can kill.
Absolutely.
So this people like this, and it's obvious that the label is there here for that very purpose, to mislead people. Not that they didn't know. In Delhi High Court, Mrs. Rupa filed a case because her child's condition deteriorated. They know this, company people knew this, but still they wanted to stick to their trademark because that's how they are able to sell.
So, from what I understand here is that these big companies are now fighting to clear off stock until then. But why were they given permission in the first place? Is there any kind of checks that's being done by the FSSAI or the medical fraternity to ensure that such brands do not fool vulnerable people? Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, could you step in on this? First of all, my question, when you're feeling slightly weak and dizzy, the first thing you do is eat something sweet, a sugar candy or something like that. Give us a sense of why these ORS Tetra packs are so dangerous that it could have an adverse effect.
Good evening. So there are a few important points to highlight, and I think it's important just for the first 30 seconds to draw out what the basic parameters are, therefore basing this discussion forward. We know that acute gastroenteritis or diarrhea with or without vomiting and intestinal infection kills more than 6 to 7 lakh children every year in India. It's one amongst the most leading causes of death, especially in rural India under the age group of 5. It's largely what we see in smaller children who already have comorbidities, including malnourishment. Now, you already have a label which is carrying ORS. According to me, this is a misleading, this is a mischievous advertisement campaign to piggyback on a label which is WHO standardized. So this itself on law is bad. Point number 2. In a child who's sick, in a child who's dehydrated, already there is stress, there is infection, there are stress hormones like cortisol which are released. In this very vulnerable state, you are subjecting a child to a high concentration of glucose with an abnormal concentration of sodium and potassium. So let me explain to the viewers what this does. This causes what we call as a hyperglycemic, means high glucose, and hyperosmolar, that means your blood becomes much thicker. This infiltrates into your gut through various mechanisms and sodium pores, and it worsens the dehydration and it thickens the blood further. Neurological complications, heart complications, further dehydration, acute kidney injury. As it is, the children are on a very thin margin with dehydration as far as the kidney function is concerned. So this, what you are doing is creating an ideal recipe of disaster. Just allow me 30 seconds more, Jamila. Now, when you're looking at a situation, especially outside major hospitals, a lot of GPs, a lot of pediatricians would routinely write ORS. The person goes to the shelf as parents, they pick up ORS. You are subjecting a child to literally near-death events by giving this. J&J as a company, and I'm naming it and I have no shame in naming it, already have a FSSAI number and license. First question is, why was it given?
That's precisely my point.
Given?
Shouldn't there be criminal liability here for these kind of brands?
I think heads should roll, and FSSAI itself is directly culpable in this mess. Point number 2, you are now subjecting it to a jurisdiction of a court, and the court has given a judgment which, according to me, with all humbleness, with great honor to the courts, is not accurate medically or scientifically. You cannot subject 36% of Indian population, which is children, to a 180 crore ransom. This is utter nonsense. Somewhere we need medical science coming in. We need to put human lives first. We need to put children's lives first. A ill child is a sick adolescent, is a bad health adult. Why are we doing this to our own community? Why are we doing this to our own country? Someone needs to wake up and tell the court what is happening. This is fundamentally wrong scientifically.
Should doctors, come out to educate parents who are not aware? Dr. Shikha, would you want to comment on that? Since it's out there for sale and it's placed right next to WHO recommended ORS in pharmacies and shelves, it's very easy to reach out for an easy Tetra Pak rather than take a powder and mix it with water. You're just reaching out to a Tetra Pak which is ready. You just sip on it. So actually that has made it easier for these companies to sell, making it easier for parents to make their children drink it. Because that doesn't look very appealing. That powder doesn't look appealing. A Tetra Pak looks appealing. So what's the duty of the doctors, by and large, to ensure parents are educated?
I agree with you that parents should be educated, but let me put few points one by one. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the doctors, and especially for filing the case, because this is, I think, extremely important. The first thing I would like to say that ORS works like medicine, and it is shocking that ORS has been given this license, because of which God knows how many children would have already died. So I would say this should be a criminal offense. This cannot be looked at as pure food, because this is not food by any stretch of imagination. This is medicine, and medicine, any adulteration, even little bit, or even mislabeling should be a criminal offense, because it is a medicine for the child. Number one. Number two, I would urge and request FSSAI not to knuckle up or bend, because whether it's 180 crore or 2000 crore, God knows how many kids have already died. So money cannot come before lives. So that is my second thing. Third thing is, see, education works, it takes time. But today, if there is a child in a hospital who's suffering from diarrhea and the parents are told, please get ORS and feed the child, how many doctors would be able to see which ORS they're feeding? Because they're busy in their emergency, they're busy in their hospitals. They would not come and see every drink being given. So what I'm saying is, it's a ticking time bomb. And like I'm saying that in villages, there are nobody available. So whatever is available at the pharmacy shop, at the hospital, wherever, they will just give it to the child, little realizing that this is killing the child. The osmolarity is 10 times. It's like sucking out the rest of the water also in the body.
Dr. Bagai?
Just very quickly, it's for a common viewer who has small children, and I hope this program is being viewed by millions all over India, and I hope it's repeated again and again. Apart from the fluid loss and dehydration, that means low volume in your arterial and venous system. A child in diarrhea suffers a lot of electrolyte imbalance. That's hurting the kid as it is who's sick. By giving a child an abnormal concentration of glucose and a skewed concentration of sodium and potassium, you're exaggerating the mortality hugely. Point number two, an ORS solution, what we tell parents and all our association in pediatrics are campaigning for this, is a simple chutki bhar namak and 1 teaspoon of simple sugar in a cup of water does the trick for a child, and the cost is less than 1 rupee. This packet of 200 ml is being sold for 35 to 40 rupees. Somewhere down the line, we got to look beyond commercials. We have to put a child's life on priority. We need to give the correct messaging. And I hope and pray that the court sees what is right and comes down strictly on FSSAI and this company who has a track record. I will just jog people's memory down. A couple of years back, they have a 744 million lawsuit of asbestos in talcum powder. They have a 340 million lawsuit of selling wrong women contraceptive devices and other lawsuits too. We have to come down heavily on these multinationals. They are offloading these drugs on India. India is not a dumping ground. We are pretty good on our own.
Well, ma'am, Ms. Sivaranjani, your final take on this. Do you fear that this court battle that JNL is fighting will actually lead to court allowing for stocks to clear out, maybe under a different, or maybe not kept in shelves near the original ORS, kept separately, maybe a direction to pharmacies that you should, keep this as a beverage, a sweet beverage instead of ORS, and not offer it to patients? I don't know what kind of direction can possibly come out, but do you fear that this will be back on shelves? It's already on shelves. It's not been taken off.
Indians are not guinea pigs, and nobody should take us for a ride. And I think FSSAI will give the order and honor the order of 15th October, and these should not come back onto the shelves. Not only these, any drink other than WHO recommended formula ORS and plain water should not be available in pharmacies, clinics, schools, hospitals or anywhere. And the label ORS should not be used on any drink other than WHO recommended formula ORS, even if you're selling in supermarkets.
Okay.
This has to be very, 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 very clear.
All right, so let's just hope the Delhi court is watching and gives an order that ensures that Indians are not fooled any longer. If there is a decision taken by the FSSAI, hopefully it's adhered to and with immediate effect. There shouldn't be any more delay. Yeah, ma'am?
Yeah, I really wish if things go against people of India, Supreme Court should take it up suo moto.
Will you reach out?
Not yet. I'm really hopeful and have the confidence.
Yeah, you waited for 8 years. You're willing to wait this out. You believe that justice will come out of this.
Yes.
I feel that these companies should ideally be sued for misleading people. Forget ban; they should also be pursued legally.
And even the officials of FSSAI need to be investigated, whoever has allowed this to happen.
Surely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate Dr. Sivaranjani, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai and Dr. Shikha Sharma for joining us here today.
Thank you.
A quick break and we'll be right back on Delhi's gearing up for Chhath Puja, very popular festival in Delhi, and that happens by the river banks. And here, Delhi's Yamuna is polluted and frothing. I'm going to take you through details on that with our panelists on board. Stay with us.
In association with Can't Do Without Servo 40 Extra from Indian Oil.
इंडियन ऑयल स्वागत पेट्रोल पंप, क्योंकि स्वागत है हैप्पी जर्नी की रेसिपी।
Look, this investment guru's tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight. Well said, well said, well said. SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
डेली मुझे कॉन्स्टिपेशन की प्रॉब्लम होती है, मैं क्या करूं? 2 स्पून काफी है। ये प्रॉब्लम दूर करने के लिए लायन डेट सिरप। इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स, बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। फाइबर, कॉन्स्टिपेशन से रोकथाम। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
Breaking news. Major disruption is expected this week.
Yes, disruption confirmed. That's me. Relax, no scams, just my brand new show, News Cosmic with Cyrus.
Big Daddy of elections has arrived. How will Bihar, Gen Z usher in change? Have they emerged as a substantial vote base? We have been able to indigenously develop a system which a lot of countries aspire. We have also drawn that red line, and that's the best part. Donald Trump has been keeping everybody guessing. There are things you can negotiate and there are things you cannot negotiate. The Americans never expected such a tough line from the Indians. You confront a bully up front, you know.
Welcome back. Let me cut across to the Delhi Yamuna river that's set to be frothing yet again. This is despite the BJP government, newly elected Chief Minister Rekha, who says clearly that Yamuna will be clean before Chhath Puja, but seems like we're far from it. Let me take you through the details of it. Is Yamuna clean or not? Is Yamuna clean or not is a question that's being asked right ahead of Chhath Puja. And these are the visuals that we have here. Some shots that were taken in the last 2 days shows very clearly that the river is yet again back to frothing and thick bubbles that surface there on River Yamuna. And this comes just before Chhath Puja. The Aam Aadmi Party was quick to slam the BJP, trading charges over the river's condition, trying to claim credit, saying that this is basically the BJP trying to claim credit by temporarily fixing the Yamuna river, doing cosmetic cleanup before Chhath. But the fact is that the froth is back again, that this is the situation of the Yamuna. You see Rekha Gupta herself there trying to monitor the situation. Remember, Chhath Puja is from 25th to 28th of October. She herself has promised, and this is a long-standing issue. One should remember that cleaning Yamuna is a challenge. It's a long-standing issue. It's been on for years and years that the frothing has surfaced, and it's become a political issue with the BJP constantly firing salvos at the Aam Aadmi Party when they were in power. Now that the BJP is in power, in last few months, the BJP has been working around ensuring Yamuna is cleansed, but seems like they haven't really achieved that target. And Chhath is right around the corner. Chhath has long been both a cultural and a political show of strength, especially considering Bihar elections are also coming just around the corner, November 6th and 11th. Chhath Puja is very important for those people from Bihar. So it's important that the BJP projects for them, this projection is certainly key ahead of Bihar polls. Now, at a time like this, we are looking at Yamuna that continues to froth. What really happens with the promises made by the Chief Minister Rekha Gupta herself. Now, remember those frothy river scenes that embarrassed the government, the Aam Aadmi Party, year on year previously. Now it seems like it's come back to haunt the BJP as well. The Delhi Jal Board, though, has been spraying defoaming chemicals to tackle the toxic layer that appears post-Diwali, hoping that this year at least Yamuna will finally look festival ready, but doesn't seem like it's really a fix. It seems like a quick fix, but not a sustainable one. In fact, Rekha Gupta and her party that came to power in February, they've unseated Aam Aadmi Party on multiple issues, including pollution. At this point, it seems like they themselves are in a spot. It hasn't visibly improved. At least temporarily it was, it's back again. So Aam Aadmi Party has enough and more to fire at the BJP at this point. Saurabh Bharadwaj, in fact, put out, the AAP president in Delhi has put out a video itself. He put out this video saying BJP is basically trying to do cosmetic fixes of the Yamuna river. BJP is robbing UP's farmers of irrigation water for propaganda, saying that, alleging that BJP ruled Delhi and Haryana are diverting water from Uttar Pradesh's eastern canal into Yamuna to fake clean the river. Well, whatever said, Chhath devotees are waiting to have a clean river to perform that puja. Whether or not the puja is still going to happen, because the BJP has given permission for it to happen, but is it possible? How far will the BJP stand true to its promise? Let's hear it from our panelists who are joining us right here today. We have Diwan Singh, environmentalist, joining us. We also have Neoma Gupta, who's a spokesperson of the BJP, and also Anmol Pawar, who's a spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Neoma, would you want to start first? The visual that we see of Yamuna is really not what was promised by the Delhi Chief Minister. Certainly, it's not easy to turn things around in a few months, but the fact is that the promise was made. Chhath is in 2 days and it's far from clean.
Good evening, ma'am. So, see, in the last few months, more work has been done than in the last, lost decades of Aam Aadmi Party's governance. When it comes to infrastructural work, 1,500 metric tons of garbage has been removed. The 22 large drains flowing into the river have been desilted and are functioning. New STPs are being constructed and old ones have been repaired. And I mean, there are about 37 STPs right now that are fully functional. Having said that, our work and our agenda has been constantly to make sure the Yamuna is restored to its past glory, and we are continuing to do that. However, let's talk a little bit on data. In fact, I visited the Vasudha Ghat yesterday, and Vasudeva Ghat, sorry, and I didn't see any visuals like that. In fact, I've just posted it on my social media. Having said that, in terms of parameters, we need to see everything into perspective. Whether it comes to dissolved oxygen, pH levels, the local suspended solid levels, they are very much within controls. The samples were taken from the Yamuna, which even showed that the fecal coliform levels were at 3,500 MNP at 100 ml, which was a dramatic drop from an outstanding range of about 21,000 to 2 lakh units, which were lodged earlier in 2019. Biochemical oxygen demand showed remarkable improvement this September, October. In fact, the nature gods were also very kind, and so were these steps which were being taken. Now, when it comes to the sacred festival of Chhath, we have been doing this work since the time we've come into power. Chhath is happening 7 months post. Please understand, we are carrying the luggage, which is extremely heavy of Aam Aadmi Party's failure to have done anything. In fact, they had said they'll take a dubki. Their own chief minister, I don't recall him taking a dubki, let alone doing anything for the Yamuna. Today, innumerable Karyakartas and eminent members of BJP have taken dubkis to ensure that everything is within stipulated data. For the past 7-8 years.
But the frothing is back. And it was the BJP's commitment. Do you think it was done in a rush? Do you believe that you should have taken a year to possibly clean it out properly, do it systematically, and then welcome people back to do the puja? Or is it a Bihar election afterthought?
It's not an afterthought, because we've been doing this from the day we came into power, and the results are seen steadily and slowly. Would we risk anybody? Absolutely not. I mean, just because there is a very pivotal religious function or anything else, we would never do that. We are opening the gates to this place because we are reasonably sure that it is a safe environment to be in. And why would we ever compromise anybody on the grounds of any religious thing? It doesn't work like that.
But if you're looking at froth, I remember we had our reporters on the ground who claimed such terrible itching, eye burning with that kind of frothing. Exposure to that is not right.
I was there myself yesterday at the Vasudeva Ghat, and I did not see visuals like this whatsoever. Irrespective, every step will be taken in due course to make sure everything is resolved, and I'm very, very confident of that statement.
Right. Let's bring in the environmentalists, Sir Divan Singh. You know, the BJP is putting all efforts to ensure that they are ready for Chhath Puja. It's barely 2 days or 1 day. Tomorrow it begins. So, chemical spraying, is that sustainable cleanup in your view? And we see boats and heavy duty chemical spraying happening to dissolve the froth.
See, as far as the parameters are concerned, I was there at Yamuna yesterday at Kalandi Ghat, and the parameter didn't seem to be so bad as used to be in earlier years. The dissolved oxygen was more than 4, which is pretty good, considering that Chhath Puja, the bhakts, devotees have to take bath, and it's not a bad parameter. It's not a bad count. So now we were wondering how come this time in October the river water has improved so much. So we tried to dig into the information and found that this time from Hattikund Barrage, which is controlled by Haryana government, 7,000 cusecs of water has been released, which is unprecedented. Normally, 10 cumecs, which is around 350 cusecs water is normally released for the reverse ecological flow. Whereas now, for last 24 hours, 7,000 cusecs water has been released into the Yamuna, which is a huge quantity. Both Eastern Yamuna Canal and Western Yamuna Canal have been closed for a long time, for 2-3 days. That's what we got information. So it's a dramatic turn of events.
Do you believe it's in the right direction? It could have been done even earlier, but because of politics, because BJP governed Haryana, AAP governed Delhi, it never happened?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because of that, because earlier AAP didn't have governed in all neighboring states. But then it needs a willpower. And the present government has shown their willpower to ensure the river has good flow during Chhath Puja when people worship nature. This is very good that we have such good festivals in India that people worship nature. They stand in the water and worship the sun. So if the present government ensured that, then something needs a pat on its back.
Well, in your view, but the visuals that we are showing, if you know, our cameras took some drone shots of it in the last 2 days, if we could have it.
Because the sewage that's flowing into the Yamuna continues to be the same because it's not diverted elsewhere. So the sewage that is flowing into the river, it will show up as the water falls down from a gradient. So from any of the barrages, when it falls down at Kalandi Ghat or at ITO barrage, anywhere it falls down from little height, 1 or 2 feet, the froth will develop. So the sewage is also showing up in form of the froth. But earlier, say it was 2 liters of, in earlier years, in the month of October, it was 2 liters of sewage and 1 liter of fresh water. This time it's 2 liters of sewage and 20 liters of fresh water into the river. So huge dilution.
So you're saying in your expertise, exposure to that is not going to be harmful for a few hours if one wants to perform puja there?
No, it won't be that harmful as it used to be. It is much less harmful in comparison to earlier times. I mean, you can't be in a panic state considering the condition of Yamuna.
Right.
Earlier it used to panic.
Okay. Let me bring in the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson. I got an expert just so that we could set the record straight. Frothing, yes, is still visible, but our environmentalists say it's not as hazardous as it was in previous years. Anmol, your take on that. Saurabh Bharadwaj has been putting up video after video saying this is cosmetic fix, but at least something's being done.
Good evening, Nabila ji. Nabila ji, the बहुत झूठी party government which is in power since the last 10 years and has spent over 50,000 crores in the name of Namami Gange and Clean Yamuna wants the people of this country, wants the people of Delhi to believe that they have cleaned Yamuna in just 7 months. Let me remind them of their own record. In 2023, the National Green Tribunal imposed a fine of rupees 65 crores for failing to control pollution in Yamuna in Uttar Pradesh. The Supreme Court imposed another 60 crore penalty for their negligence in not cleaning Yamuna in Uttar Pradesh. In April 2025, this year, Parliamentary Committee of their own government declared Yamuna dead. Here's the proof that it is so polluted, that it is unfit, that it is dead. and now by spraying the same defoaming chemical that their ministers once used to say poison, जो कहते थे जी जहर छिड़क रही है आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार, they are even using the same chemical to manage the toxic foam. And now they are not just trying, they have miserably failed in cleaning river Yamuna, and now they are playing with the lives of people of Delhi, बिहार और पूर्वांचल के लोगों के लिए, जिनके लिए छठ जो है आस्था का पर्व है, उनकी जिंदगी के साथ खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है. And today their own agency, government agency, DPCC has exposed them completely. I would like to highlight this fact. जो आपके एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट यहां पे बैठे हैं पैनल पे, मैं चाहूंगा वो भी ये देखें और आप जूम करके दिखाएं 23/10/2025 की डीपीसीसी की ये रिपोर्ट जो कहती है कि ये पानी पीने लायक भी नहीं है. तो आप बताइए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग बताएं कि क्यों दिल्ली वालों की जिंदगी के साथ खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है, क्यों बिहार और पूर्वांचल के लोगों की जिंदगी के साथ खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है.
So आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? अनमोल, are you trying to say that Chhath Puja be stopped from being performed at Yamuna River? Is that what you're asking?
Nabila ji, even during our time in 2021, when the former honorable Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal wrote to the Lieutenant Governor, who was then the chairperson of DDMA, Delhi Disaster Management Authority, seeking permission to perform Chhath Puja at Yamuna Ghats. We were denied the permission at that time. We made 1,000 Chhath Ghats. इतने Chhath Ghat हमने बनाए थे रिकॉर्ड तोड़. हमने भी तो की थी ना व्यवस्था बेहतर लोगों के लिए. हमने लोगों को बेवकूफ तो नहीं बनाया था कि आप वहां जाइए और जहर का पानी पीजिए जो आप साफ नहीं कर पाए. 10 साल से आप यमुना साफ नहीं कर पाए और आप आज कह रहे हैं कि हम ये मान लें कि 7 महीने में दिल्ली की यमुना साफ हो गई. किसका बेवकूफ बना रहे हैं आप?
Okay. Niyama, when the Aam Aadmi Party insisted on doing the Chhath Puja, the BJP...
I'd like to counter him because he creates the maximum noise pollution. For
right.
the first time in 7-8 years, the Puja will
I'm
be performed.
placing facts.
You're very loud.
Okay. I beg you, we have barely a minute. I don't have too much time. Barely a minute. Yeah.
The Yamuna River itself, because at least one model Chhath Ghat is being built in every district. Go and visit it. They've come up brilliantly. We have
we made 70 model Chhath Ghats. You just
we have doctors, mobile toilet station at every ghat, and literally all our MLAs and MPs will be personally supervising these preparations because our party workers believe in coming out of their office and doing groundwork. Just look at the talking points of the Aam Aadmi spokesperson.
No, but one point that he said was they had made 50 of those ghats, but they were not given permission.
But the water was not fit enough for the people.
So you're saying the water is fit enough now? The water is fit enough now?
No, not only that, their own chief minister, who's constantly during his election campaign said, next time the water will be correct. It never happened.
They are saying Yamuna ka pani pee ke dikhaye. We saw that stunt being done previously as well. Will anyone, one of you do it?
Don't fly by. So, I mean, you spent 7,000 crores. Your report card was an epic failure, and you're going to show us the report card.
Okay, you know, as I end here, all I can say is Chhath is tomorrow, Chhath Puja is tomorrow. We're only hoping a safe festival. If you believe, environmentalists say it's not so bad. The conditions are fairly better. We're hoping that the festivities also go on.
Says to the contrary, Nabila ji, report says to the contrary. DPCC's report.
Cut the noise pollution. Thank you for the debate.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
You
Anmol.
don't have answers.
Thank you,
That's why
Anmol.
you're running away.
Thank you, Anmol, Neoma, and Diwan Singh, environmentalists, for joining us. Let me quickly cut across to all our top stories on Day Tonight. All right, starting with our top story on Mysuru. In fact, a doctor has been caught for carrying out tests to a certain gender. Shocking case of crime that's come to light from Karnataka's Mysuru. Mysuru authorities have busted a major illegal fetal sex determination racket, allegedly run by a private hospital owner herself. What's more is that the entire setup operated out of a farmhouse that was turned into a secret clinic. According to officials, the prime accused, Dr. Shamala, the owner of SK Hospital in Bannur, along with her husband Govind Raju, were running a covert network to determine the gender of an unborn child, a practice that's been banned under law. Agents allegedly brought in expectant mothers, charging almost 25,000 to 35,000 to check their to determine the sex of the child. A scanning machine was also found during raids at the doctor's home used for those secret procedures. During a surprise raid near Banur Highway, that's where the farmhouse is located, officials caught 4 pregnant women also red-handed waiting for their turn inside the makeshift farmhouse clinic. A nurse from the hospital was reportedly conducting the scan when they arrived. So that's it. There's really no justification here. They were caught red-handed. 5 people have been arrested and a few of them remain absconding. The main agent, Puttaraju, is absconding. Authorities now fear that this racket could be linked to multiple female feticide cases across Karnataka. The district health department says the entire operation was tracked after they noticed suspicious scan patterns involving pregnant women. Investigations are now on to uncover if this is a larger network. All right, cutting across to a very, very tragic incident that happened today on a bus that was traveling from Andhra to Bengaluru caught fire, killing 21 people. Horrific tragedy in Andhra Pradesh's Kurnool district. Private bus carrying nearly 40 passengers caught fire after a collision with a bike that was coming from the opposite side. 20 people were burnt alive. A devastating accident took place near Chinna Tekur village in Kalur Mandal, near Andhra Pradesh, around 3:30 a.m. It was on its way to Bengaluru. In fact, this bus was traveling from Bengaluru to Hyderabad when it hit a two-wheeler on the national highway, triggering a massive blaze that quickly engulfed the vehicle. Out of the 39 passengers, 40 passengers who were on board, we believe that barely 12 of them could escape. The rest of them were burnt alive. It was an AC coach bus, and we hear that the speculation is that there could have been a fuel tank explosion, and that's what led to fire that quickly erupted. There was barely any time for people to escape. Those who managed to were lucky enough. The rest were caught in that. And an AC coach, what happens is usually the doors get locked if it's a sleeper coach, AC coach. And by the time the fire tenders reached the spot, we hear that most of them had already died. This was a luxury bus and it was registered in Odisha's Rayagada district, not in Telangana. Had multiple overspeeding e-challans as well, worth nearly 23,000 that was pending in Telangana. So authorities now say that fitness and permit checks for the vehicle fall under Odisha's jurisdiction, but yet they are investigating the matter to see whose fault was it really. DK Shivkumar of Karnataka has confirmed that around 20 students on board the bus were safe, but called for a thorough probe. 20 people have died. Leaders across India have expressed grief. Prime Minister Modi has also announced 2 lakh ex gratia, 50,000 to the injured. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has asked his officials to coordinate and ensure all those families are attended to. All right, now a woman doctor of a government hospital allegedly committed suicide. In Maharashtra's Satara district, a lady doctor committed suicide allegedly. She left a suicide note behind, accusing 2 police personnel of raping her and of carrying out mental harassment repeatedly. Ultimately, she gave up her life. This is what she alleges, that she couldn't bear this anymore, and in her hand, while she was found dead, in her hand was written a suicide note. A suicide note that was written on her palm. The doctor alleges Sub-Inspector Gopal Badane raped and sexually harassed her on multiple occasions, and another police personnel, Prashant Bankar, mentally harassed her over the last 5 months. The victim was found hanging in a hotel room in Paltan, following which the police were alerted, and officials say that deceased was a native of Beed district, worked at a government hospital in Paltan Tehsil, and she claims that she was raped by police officers. Taking cognizance of this incident, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has spoken to Satara Superintendent of Police, ordering an immediate suspension of the named police officers. The police have now registered a case and the body has been sent for post-mortem. Maharashtra Women's Commission also now demanding that this be taken up with urgency and asking for teams to be deployed to hunt those accused and get to the bottom of this case. All right, Pakistan now is facing growing economic crisis following border clashes with Afghanistan that have disrupted trade and driven up prices of essential goods. Possibly the worst economic crisis that Pakistan is currently going through. Since October 11th, all trade and transit across the 2,600-kilometer frontier in Pakistan has been blocked after ground fighting and Pakistani airstrikes killed dozens on both sides, on the Afghanistan side and the Pakistan side. The impact is being felt across Pakistan's markets now. Because of the block in that route, tomato prices in Pakistan has skyrocketed. It surged 5-folds, reaching 600 rupees per kilogram, Pakistani rupees. While apples and grapes, largely imported from Afghanistan, are also in short supply. We're looking at all that produce there stuck midway. Officials say roughly 5,000 containers of goods are stranded at the Torkham borders, with fresh vegetables, fruit, wheat, rice, sugar, meat, dairy products, all are currently rotting as exports stall. Truck drivers say that they were running out of money. Vegetables, fruits and other goods were all being damaged, and they're currently facing terrible hardships. They're finding it hard to now basically meet their ends. Economic toll is quite severe. Both sides are losing nearly $1 million daily, according to Pakistan-Afghanistan Chamber of Commerce. And Pakistan's annual $2.3 billion trade with Afghanistan has come to a grinding halt. While ceasefire is currently is holding after talks in Qatar and Turkey, border trade remains completely closed. So Pakistan and Afghanistan are fighting. Ceasefire is on. Fighting is stopped, but trade is also stuck, which has really led to prices surging in both the countries. It's sad to see those innocent bearing the brunt of it. The situation really highlights the tensions that war can take and the toll that a war-like situation can take on the common man. And that's what we see here. It's a terrible situation, economic crisis and spelling doom there for Pakistan, really. All right, a quick look at Rishabh Shetty's Kantara Chapter 1 that continues to make waves at the box office. Kantara now, a film that has really sustained its success. It's now really inching to a big milestone. In just 21 days, Kantara Chapter 1 has ranked in a worldwide gross of 765.4 crores. It's basically the highest grossing Indian film, contributing to franchisee's total collection of 1,174 crores that Kantara has amassed. The next milestone for the franchise is crossing the 1,200 mark, with the prequel just 25.1 crores shy of this landmark. Breaking down the collections, India's net stands at 556.7 crores, while the gross of India's total stands at 656 crores. Overseas, the film has earned 108 crores, pushing the worldwide total to 765 crores. While the KGF franchise still holds the record as the highest grossing Kannada franchise with over 1,400 crores, Kantara now continues to impress with its box office stamina. With no major releases in the coming weeks, it seems like the movie will have a great run. Thanks very much for tuning in. You do have a great night.
Irregular periods and unbearable pain. उसके लिए क्या करूं?
2 स्पून काफी है। ये प्रॉब्लम दूर करने के लिए लायन डेट सिरप। इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स, किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News 9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News 9's pick of the week. Don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News 9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
That goat is long dead. But Cyrus bhai are still alive. Game cho. This is God's office calling. You're not a VIP, so God won't speak directly. But here's the deal. You have been granted a second chance with a brand new news show.
Thank you very much. Just one thing. You said 2 lives, 2 more lives. So I'll first be a newsman who wins awards, and second I'll be
cockroach.
Better make this show last. No hurry to, be a cockroach. Let's stay here for a little while. Don't want to be a cockroach. Apparently, they have lots of issues, like being stamped upon. Which is the same thing as a newsman. I mean, they're not that different.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to your favorite news destination. The top headlines we're tracking for you on your screens first. Days after border clashes with Pakistan, Afghanistan's Taliban government plans to build dams on the Kunar River, a double water blow for Pakistan, a move likely to reduce water flow into Pakistan. After Donald Trump ends trade talks with Canada following a Reagan advertisement in Ontario, Canada Prime Minister says the country is ready to resume trade talks with the United States when Washington agrees. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal questions why India is being singled out over Russian energy trade, noting that Germany and UK have sought exemptions from the United States on oil sanctions. Karnataka Chief Minister Sivaranjani is on a damage control mode. All of this after his son sparked a political row over his succession. He comes out and defends son Yatendra. We'll play out that reaction. Stay tuned. Reliance Industries says it will comply with the latest EU sanctions on Russian oil and remains fully committed to adhering to all applicable sanctions and regulatory frameworks.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा के संग त्योहार की उमंग.
Our top focus this news wheel. In a move that mirrors India's recent hardline approach towards Pakistan, now Afghanistan's Taliban government has announced plans to block river waters flowing into Pakistan. Taliban has ordered construction of dams on the Kunar River. Acting on the directive of Taliban Supreme Leader Mawlavi Hibatullah Akhundzada, the country's water minister Mullah Abdul Latif Mansoor said that the construction of dams on the Kunar River will begin as soon as possible. Mansoor asserted that Afghans have the right to manage their own water and that domestic firms will take charge of the project instead of foreign contractors. The move comes just months, mind you, after India suspended the Indus Waters Treaty following the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam on the 22nd of April. 24 hours after the attack, New Delhi froze the 65-year-old agreement that governs water sharing between India and Pakistan. Experts say Afghanistan's decision could have far-reaching consequences as well. Now, the Kunar River, let's tell you about it. Originating in Pakistan's Chitral region and flowing into Afghanistan before re-entering Pakistan as the Kabul River, is one of the major sources of irrigation and drinking water for the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. Should Kabul go ahead with this dam construction, Pakistan could face a severe water shortage. And unlike India, there is no formal treaty governing water sharing between Islamabad and Kabul, leaving Pakistan with no diplomatic recourse. This development has raised further fears that tensions between the Taliban and Pakistan could escalate further, especially after Islamabad accused Kabul of backing the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, a group Pakistan designates as a terror organization. And just last week, Taliban Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi, He was in India, where both sides agreed to cooperate on sustainable water management and hydroelectric projects. With the Taliban's latest announcement, the region is already fragile, and this fragile balance over water resources could soon turn into the next major flashpoint in South Asia geopolitics. Meanwhile, a nice segue for us to talk about this. Border closures between Pakistan and Afghanistan are pushing up prices of essential goods in both the countries, with tomatoes now costing 5 times more in Pakistan. The shutdown comes after fighting broke out along the 2,600-kilometer frontier earlier this month, following Pakistani airstrikes and cross-border clashes that killed dozens on both the sides. All trade and transit have been blocked since October 11th, leaving around 5,000 containers of goods stranded at border points. Fresh vegetables, fruits, wheat, rice, sugar. We're talking about meat and dairy products, all severely affected. Tomatoes, a staple in Pakistani cooking. It has surged over 400%, reaching nearly 600 rupees per kg, whilst apples and grapes are also in short supply. The border clashes were triggered by Islamabad demanding action against militants across and crossing into from Afghanistan. Though a ceasefire continues to hold, trade remains blocked, and the next round of talks is scheduled in Istanbul on the 25th of October.
ये अफगानिस्तान से टमाटर बॉर्डर बंद हो गया था ना, तो उसी वजह से हम लोगों ने ईरान से टमाटर मंगवाए। अभी हम लोगों ने ये सस्ता करके बेच रहे हैं। 500-600 रुपए पे चला गया था, अभी वापस 200 रुपए किलो पे हम लोग ले आए हैं टमाटर।
अभी अफगानिस्तान के बॉर्डर बंद है, सेब यहाँ पे नहीं आ रहा है। अभी इसीलिए पाकिस्तानी गोल्डन महंगा है, 3500, 3600, 3800 इतने तक जो है ना अच्छा गोल्डन जा रहा है। बाकी कुल्लू सेब जो है ना 2200, 2100, 3000, 2300 तक। और इसके अलावा अमरी सेब जो है ना वो भी 2200, 2300 बिक रहे हैं।
मंडी में देखो, मंडी में बिल्कुल माल ही नहीं है, माल बहुत ज्यादा उधर खराब हो गया। बॉर्डर से पीछे गाड़ी बहुत ज्यादा खड़ा है, व्यापारी लोग सारे बर्बाद तबाह हो गया, सारे रोता है कब बिल्कुल व्यापारी गर्क हो गया। अभी इधर 600 तक 500 तक टमाटर पहुंच गया, किलो 500-600 तक पहुंच गया।
While talking about trade and negotiations, India and the United States are reportedly very close to finalizing that trade deal, that elusive trade deal, with negotiators already working on the legal text of it all, according to, of course, senior government officials that have corroborated these statements. After last week's round of talks in Washington, both the sides, India and United States, have seen convergence on most of the issues, though this trade deal will still require political approval before it can officially be signed. Now, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, speaking in Berlin, reiterated India's stance, stressing that the country does not enter trade pacts under pressure or deadlines. He made it clear that India will not choose its trade partners according to the wishes of another country, and that any agreement must reflect long-term partnerships based on mutual trust.
We started with a new open mind, with a new way of thinking. We quickly wrapped up deals with the UAE, with Australia, with the four-nation EFTA bloc, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein and Iceland, with UK in July this year. We're in active dialogue with the EU. If we get a fair deal, if we get an equitable and a balanced deal, maybe that'll happen.
He's negotiating now.
And we are talking to the United States, of course, but we don't do deals in a hurry, and we don't do deals with deadlines or with a gun on our head.
India, mind you, is also in talks with the European Union on a free trade agreement after that fantastic FTA with the UK earlier this year, discussing market access, environmental standards and rules of origin. Meanwhile, Washington has shown acceptance regarding the 50% tariff on several Indian exports, signaling a possible breakthrough in the long pending negotiations. Piyush Goyal The Union Commerce Minister further clarified that India has always based its foreign relationships on national interest and will not accept external diktats. While exemptions have been granted to countries like Germany and UK under similar circumstances, India sees no reason to be singled out and treated differently.
I don't think India has ever decided who its friends will be based on any other considerations other than national interest. And I think if
so plainly you want to be told that you can't be friends with Russia.
Somebody tells me tomorrow I can't be friends with the European Union, I won't accept that. Or somebody tells me tomorrow I can't work with Kenya, it's not acceptable to me. So I think we are all in it together. The decision whether to buy a particular product from a country is something that the entire world will have to take a call on. So I was reading in today's paper, Germany is asking for exemption from US sanctions on oil. Now these are UK already has sorted and probably got an exemption for procuring oil. So then why single out India?
Well, talking about oil sanctions, Reliance Industries has responded to the recent restrictions imposed by the European Union, UK and the United States on Russian crude and refined products. The company says it is currently assessing the implications, including new compliance requirements, and will fully adhere to European Union guidelines and any directions from the Indian government. Reliance reaffirmed its commitment to India's energy security and maintaining a spotless record of compliance with all sanctions and regulatory frameworks. The company added that refinery operations will be adjusted to meet evolving requirements, supply contracts will adapt to market changes, and its diversified crude sourcing strategy will continue to ensure stability and reliability for domestic and export needs. The European Union, United Kingdom and the US have imposed a raft of sanctions against Russia over its war in Ukraine, including fresh US sanctions on Thursday, targeting Russia's two top oil producers. That opens a new tab. And Rosneft opens new tab, and Rosneft, the two top oil producers. The US has given companies until 21st of November to wind down their transactions with these Russian oil producers. But then again, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, he says that Canada stands prepared to pick up the trade negotiations with the United States when Washington is ready, adding that Canada cannot control trade policy with its neighbor to the south. Listen in to what Mark Carney had to say.
We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries.
Well, the US President Donald Trump slammed Canada over a controversial fake advertisement featuring former US President Ronald Reagan criticizing those tariffs. This has now prompted Trump to cancel trade negotiations with America's northern neighbor altogether. And in his latest remarks, Trump said Canada was caught cheating the United States. He said Canada cheated and got caught. They fraudulently took a big buy advertisement saying that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs, when actually he, in caps, loved tariffs for our country and its national security. Canada is trying to illegally influence the United States' Supreme Court in one of the most important rulings in the history of our country. Now, earlier, Donald Trump said that all trade negotiations with Canada have been cancelled over the controversial advertisement featuring Reagan. The ad was posted by Ontario Premier Doug Ford on social media platform X, and it begins with Reagan saying, and I quote, Reagan quoting that advertisement,